And welcome back to the Short Question. Currently, it's 5:58 a.m. on the 23rd of July, after more or less officially sleeping for like 10 to 12 hours. I kid you not. I am more than ready to get back into the swing of things, with the first video of today on the 23rd being a little bit different. I smile at the dead. So, quite officially, I don't know how many of you subscribed to Sean Cross are a fan of a band called Sold Soul, fronted by Stevie. I think, let's see. We had Wesley, who is now of Possession with Intent, A Pretext to Human Suffering, and other efforts. He was also a part of this band. There was a whole bunch that went behind this band, including what was their last major effort this last January, so it's December/January, of I Hope We Make It Out of This Alive. After that, if you guys remember, this band ended up disbanding officially. Gnarled Horns will be replacing Sold Soul. The post below sums everything up, but here's a shortened version. Gnarled Horns is a clean slate created solely for the sake of making the music we want to make. We aren't working within the rules of the music industry. We don't want to treat our band like a business, and we don't want to play this unending game of numbers, statistics, and analytics. We are desperate artists, and we are going to make art, with or without the success, profit, or opportunities of Sold Soul. If you want to help us crowdfund and bring this project together, we're offering digital assets in return for donations. And for that, I'll go ahead and go directly to this part of the post, which reads, as mentioned, we have decided to crowdfund this project. For any donation of $2 or more, you'll get Sold Soul, Child of Night, an unreleased but complete song never heard by anyone. This song will be exclusive to the crowdfund and will never be released on streaming. For any donation of $15 or more, you'll get the new song, the entire digital discography of Sold Soul, including the instrumental release, pre-pro demos off of the last album, including For Whom the Banshee Cries and Valley of Lichens, vocal and instrumental stems, unused concept art, lyric breakdowns, and my own personal rambling about writing the last album, an unpublished violin playthrough of Summit of Dragons, an unpublished AMV, and an unpublished lyric video, and more. Gnarled Horns will be coming out regardless of the outcome of the crowdfunding. This is only to help make it easier for us to create what we want to create and recover from the absolute mess Sold Soul ended up being. If for any reason you can't donate but have a major interest in any of these things, get in touch with the Gnarled Horns page. This isn't meant to be a paywall, and we will talk about it. Let's see. Just for the sake of transparency, I'd like to clarify that I Hope We Make It Out of This Alive was in most contexts a solo record. Sold Soul had been through several full lineups, several labels, and dozens of collaborators over its lifetime. There were tours planned, several albums planned, a billion different ideas. Nothing panned out. I made a lot of amateur mistakes. We as a band made a lot of poor decisions, and a few people took advantage of our newness in the industry. A lot of people had more interest in profiting from the name than actually creating the music, and most windows that opened for Sold Souls had closed just as quickly. The band stopped being a band, quote, in 2020 due to circumstances involving some of the members, and since then it has been in a very unorganized and confusing state of destroy rebuild. I have no bad blood with anybody, and I sum up most of the circumstances around Sold Soul as bad luck. But it holds true that I was never really able to find anyone as passionate about the music or invested in the band as myself to work with, and this is where most things went wrong. For most of the final album's production, most of the discography in general, it was just me organizing, planning, paying for, and executing everything by myself and through some borderline desperate outsourcing. I put myself into debt quite a bit solely for the record, and it took months and months of sitting in my house alone writing music and shuffling ideas around to figure out exactly what I wanted to present as the final Sold Soul release. There are a couple people who did come through and put this last release together with me. I owe a lot more than I could ever repay to Simon Pietroforte. His engineering, sound design, and care for me and my album undoubtedly carried it so much further than it would have gone without him. Working with Simone was the most motivating thing I'd ever done with Soul Soul by far. There are few other people who I owe thanks to for contributing to Soul Soul's swan song, such as songwriter-engineer Scott Cooper and songwriter-engineer Alex Cott. Between these people and myself, I am beyond proud of what it came out last winter. It's everything I had ever wanted it to be. A lot of this melodrama is something I was able to solve with Gnarled Horns. I found people who I enjoy making music with, people who love the art just as much as I do, and that is why I am confident enough in leaving Soul Soul behind me and forming a new name. Regardless of whether or not I can bring success of Soul Soul along, I want to leave this planet with a massive discography of music I am proud of, made with the people I love. I don't care much about anything else. Soul Soul will have another merch run. Our last merch run suffered a ton of issues, most regarding a ransomware attack on the Postal Service Royal Mail. Our merchandising is entirely outsourced, and those issues are still being dealt with to this day. Royal Mail lost dozens of orders, and between refunds and reprinting/reshipping, we came out with a complete loss. Those were our highest sales to date, and somehow ended up costing us more than we earned even still. I didn't profit at all. Not that this was a major concern to me, but it's just another thing tacked on the list of Soul Soul fuckery. The ransomware attack has since been resolved, and our merch distributor will be reprinting a ton of items for another finalizing sale. There are also vinyl records in the works for the debut album. These will be posted about soon as well. The Gnarled Horns debut EP is written and in the process of being finished. Expect a quick release. Thank you if you took the time to read any of this. I hope you'll come over and lend your ears to the new project. It'll be here to stay. If you go check it out, know you're exactly who this project was meant to be for in the first place. Stevie. Awesome. Let's see. Okay, so that is, I think, a ton of news regarding this project. And I remember yesterday, as soon as I got off of work, I was like, I need to make a video talking about this because I've been following Soul Soul for quite some time. Low-key, I've been bugging Stevie in the DMs as far as what would be. I hope we make it out of this alive. And I'm like, hey, when's the album coming out? When's the new album coming out? And then once the album finally came out throughout the entirety of this year, really, I've been as understanding as possible and the least bit harassing as possible when I reach out to him and ask him if he wanted to be a part of the Anatomy Crosscast, if he wanted to get Soul Soul on there, for the sake of kind of wrapping up that story, because the original impression that we had for Soul Soul and Stevie's efforts is that because of how bad things went for Soul Soul, he was looking to exit the industry as a whole and just attend to being a father. And then apparently earlier this month he did a post on Instagram basically saying, so there's this post, this was again posted 2 weeks ago. It says something new and it tags the band. And there was John Herman 14 who commented, I thought you were done. And he said, had to make some changes, but I can't stay away from the shit that I love. So like ultimately that was huge to me. I'm like, oh, so he's still planning to make music, right? And now, of course, we seem to have our answer. So, again, they're changing their name to Gnarled Horns just to kind of separate themselves from that kind of bad luck vibe, separate themselves from that identity. And, dude, I mean, honestly, if you really think about it, for any $15 or more, any donation of $15 or more to what will be, I'll be posting the link for this in the description of the video. Like, this will be the first link that you see right here. But any $15 or more, a bundle of digital Soul Soul assets, including instrumentals and pre-pro demos, vocal and instrumental stems, lyric breakdowns, the full discography in WAV format, unpublished videos, including a full violin playthrough, and more. Like, holy shit, dude. This means that if you end up at least spending $15 or more, you will be getting access to vocal cover opportunities, which I fucking donated like 30. I donated 30 just to kind of provide them a little bit more assistance. And with that will come a couple of reactions for like AMVs. I'll be recording so much stuff. And then obviously with them writing, with Stevie writing stuff for Gnarled Horns, having an EP basically ready already, and preparing to dive into that. My hope, my intentions will be to kind of help them like really start pushing Gnarled Horns. And with that, I'm even going to go ahead and unfollow Sold Soul. That way it's like, okay, this is not the project anymore. This is not the project to be participating in anymore, because instead it will be Gnarled Horns. So I suggest everybody else to do the same exact thing who does happen to follow Sold Soul. Go follow Gnarled Horns. Consider donating to the link, as I have donated like 30. So I mean, I'm not asking you to donate 30, but please consider donating, as this band has been quite the fucking ringer, and they deserve a chance to like really start climbing naturally and authentically. But yeah, this has been Sean Cross, kind of providing you guys news on a band that I've been following for a long time. I usually don't do news videos, but amongst other things, I thought it'd be interesting. I thought it'd be fresh to go ahead and do this. But just like the Great Eternal Music Machine, let's keep cranking.